Have you ever just looked at your cat and thought, what is going on in that little head of yours? Well, today we're going to dive deep into their world. We're talking about the secret language they use, especially when they're trying to tell you that something's wrong.
So really think about it for a second. Is your cat trying to tell you something that you're just not hearing? Maybe it's something you've brushed off as just a weird little cat quirk. But what if it's more? It's totally possible they've been sending you signals this whole time. And this quote right here, this gets to the absolute heart of the problem. Remember, in the wild, showing weakness is basically a death sentence. And that instinct, it's still hardwired into our cats, even when they're safe and sound in our homes. They are absolute masters of hiding when they're hurting. And that's where you come in. That's our whole goal today, to help you become a translator for your cat, because your attention, you just paying close attention, is literally the most powerful tool you have. It's how you can bridge that gap between their instinct to hide and your ability to help them. So, we're going to break this all down into 4 key areas. We'll start with those subtle shifts in their behavior. Then we'll move on to their body language. We'll look for clues in their daily routines. And finally, we'll talk about those deeper emotional distress signals. Okay, let's dive right in. Section 1. Subtle behavioral shifts. Think of these as the earliest whispers. These are the first, quietest little signs that something might be off. And honestly, they're the kinds of things that are so easy to miss if you're not really looking for them. The most important thing here is any sudden change. That's your red flag. Is their meow suddenly different? That could be pain. Are they hiding more? That's not them being antisocial. It's an instinct to protect themselves when they feel vulnerable. And a loss of interest in their favorite toy, that's not just them being lazy. If that little spark is gone, you can bet there's a reason why. And that excessive grooming we just talked about? Well, it actually has a clinical name, psychogenic alopecia. It's not just a weird habit. It's a real physical sign of deep stress or pain. So if you see your cat licking one single spot over and over until it's raw, this could very well be what's going on. All right, moving on to section 2, reading their body language. You know, a cat's body just doesn't lie. Every single posture, every little twitch of their tail, it's all a message. This is where we learn to read the physical signs that they just can't hide. I mean, just look at the difference here. It's night and day, right? A happy, confident cat moves with this beautiful grace. But a cat in distress, they might seem stiff or hunched over. And that little hesitation before a jump they used to nail effortlessly, that is often the very first sign of something like arthritis or an injury. Their body is telling the story long before it becomes obvious. Okay, listen up, because this one is absolutely crucial. Cats are not little dogs. They do not pant to cool themselves down. If you ever see your cat breathing with their mouth open, you need to treat it as a medical emergency. It could be a sign of extreme stress or a really serious heart or respiratory problem. This is one of those things where you call the vet, no questions asked. You know, they say the eyes are the window to the soul? Well, for a cat, they're also a direct window into their health. If their pupils stay huge and dilated, even in a bright room, that can be a huge sign of pain or anxiety. And any sudden redness or discharge could be anything from a simple infection to something much more serious like high blood pressure. On to section 3, clues in daily routines. Now, cats are the ultimate creatures of habit, right? They thrive on their routine, so when that routine suddenly changes, it is not random. It's basically them sending you a daily health report. Take a look at this number, just 24. What in the world could that possibly mean for your cat? It's 24 hours, because a cat going just over 24 hours without food isn't just being a picky eater, it's one of the most serious red flags you can get. It's a huge indicator that something is very wrong, and it can actually lead to life-threatening liver problems really fast. And every one of these is another vital clue. Drinking a ton more water all of a sudden, that could point to kidney disease or even diabetes. And missing the litter box? Please hear this. It is almost never your cat just being bad. It's communication. They are telling you, hey, it hurts when I go, or I'm so stressed out, or maybe even I physically can't make it there in time. Yeah, I know, nobody loves scooping the litter box. It's not the most glamorous job. But this quote is so true. That mundane daily chore, it's actually one of the most powerful diagnostic tools you have. It gives you direct evidence of what's happening inside their body. All right, our last section, and honestly, this one might be the toughest, but it's also one of the most important. We're talking about the signs that your cat isn't just hurting physically, but that their spirit is hurting. These are the deepest cries for help. The P word here, again, is change. A sudden, drastic shift from how they normally are. A cat that suddenly becomes a Velcro cat and won't leave your side might be feeling deeply insecure. And aggression? It almost always comes from a place of fear or pain, not from them being mean.
And some of these signs, they're really profound. When a cat stops grooming themselves, it often means they've kind of lost their sense of self-worth or joy. And that blank stare, that's not them just zoning out. It can be a sign they're completely overwhelmed or even experiencing cognitive decline. They're basically shutting down.
But honestly, this is the one it's absolutely heartbreaking. It's when a cat who used to come to you for everything, for comfort, for love, just stops. That silence, that withdrawal. It isn't independence. It's a form of surrender. It is their final, quietest cry for help.
So, after hearing all of this, you might be feeling a little overwhelmed, right? But it all comes down to these 3 simple, powerful steps. First, observe. Really watch them and listen for those whispers. Second, trust your gut. You know your cat better than anyone. If something feels off, it probably is. And third, act. Don't wait and see. Call your vet. They are your partner in all of this.
Because at the end of the day, it's this simple. It's not about the fancy toys or the most expensive food. The most vital, life-saving gift you can ever give your cat is just your focused, compassionate attention.
So I want to leave you with this question to really think about. Think about your cat right now. Think about their little habits, the way they hold themselves, the look in their eyes. What is their quietest whisper to you? And are you listening?
Because that's what this is all about, isn't it? It's about giving them the incredible comfort of finally being seen, of being understood. When you learn to listen to their whispers, you give them the peace of knowing they're not in this alone. Thank you so much for tuning in.